Hello and welcome. Today, I invite you to join with me in an exercise called the Wheel of Awareness. At times, our lives can become busy or chaotic, and we can lose our sense of connection and integration. This is especially true in the current environment, when we may not be able to physically connect with our loved ones. We can use the Wheel of Awareness to help us find that connection. To begin with, I want you to visualize a wheel, like the wheel of a bicycle, that has a central hub around which the wheel rotates, and then spokes that project from this central hub to the rim. This outer rim encompasses everything we know and experience, and can be divided into four quadrants. The senses that convey information from the outside world, the inner sensations of the body itself, the activities of the mind, and our connection to things outside of our body, our relationships. As we move through the wheel, we'll be noticing our connections, sending our awareness out like those spokes to the different sections on the outer rim. So to begin with, I want you to find a comfortable place, either sitting in a relaxed position or lying down, and with your eyes closed or fixed on a position on the floor or the wall, however you feel comfortable. And I want you to start just by finding the breath. Just bring your attention to the breath as it flows in and out of our body. And that can be at the level of the nostrils, or the level of the chest, or the body as it moves with each breath that flows in and out of our body. And I want you now to turn your attention to the first quadrant on the rim. We're going to start by sending a spoke out to the sense of hearing. And just notice the sounds that you can hear. The sounds inside the room, the sounds outside of the room. Just bring your awareness to all of that auditory information. And now I want you to shift that awareness to the sense of sight. And even if your eyes are closed, or if they might be open a little bit, just noticing the visual information that is being transmitted. Notice any sights, any sounds, any colors, any shades, any textures. that come to our eyes. And now take another smoke and send that out to the sense of smell. Notice any odors that you can detect in your environment, any smells that come to the nostrils. If you take a breath in, and now directing that attention to the level of the taste, noticing any tastes that might be present in our mouth, any flavors, any textures that might be lingering. And now shifting that smoke again to bring the sense of touch into our awareness. And just notice where your body connects to the floor or to the furniture. Notice the feel of the clothes against our skin, the pressure of our body. And noticing how the body moves as we breathe in and out. And I want you now to take a deep breath in. And we're now going to shift our awareness out to the second quadrant of that wheel, to the body itself and the inner workings of the body. And I want you just to start with the face and just send your awareness out. Bring the muscles of the face into that awareness and just notice what's going on. And now shift that awareness down to the shoulders, noticing how they move and also any internal sensations that might be present, any tension, any aches and pains, twitches, itches, anything that might be present. And now shifting that awareness down the arms and all the way down to the hands. And just noticing any information that's coming to us from there. Any pressure, temperature. And now shifting that awareness again, this time to the muscles in the back. And noticing any sensations that are coming to us from this area of the body. And now again, we're going to shift our awareness. Send a different spoke out to the rim that connects with the legs. And just noticing again any sensations that may be coming. Both those sensations that might be more prominent, but also those that may be more subtle, slight changes in sensations. And now sending that awareness down to the feet, bringing the feet into our awareness, noticing any sensations, pressure, temperature, pain, tingling in the feet and all the way to the toes. Noticing both feet separately. And next, I invite you to shift that spoke again, and this time sending a spoke to the internal workings of the body, sending our attention to our digestive tract. And just being aware of the movement of our digestive tract. And noticing how it sits in the body and any action that we might detect. And now shifting our attention again, this time sending a spoke out to the lungs, noticing where they sit within the body and the action of the lungs as we breathe. And finally, shifting again, this time to notice our heart, feeling the presence of our heart in our body, tuning in to the action of the heart as it beats in our chest. And I want you now to take another deep breath in. And we're going to move now to the third quadrant on the rim, sending our attention to the mind itself. And contained within the mind are all of our emotions, thoughts, memories, hopes, our beliefs, our dreams, our longings, our attitudes and intentions. And first of all, I want you just to become aware of the action of the mind and just notice what enters with a sense of curiosity. And just notice how the action of the mind comes into awareness. And notice the changes as we move from one thought to the next, the changes in emotion. And pay attention to the nature of that change. Do they change rapidly or more slowly and gently? Do some linger? And I invite you now to something a little bit different. This time, I'm going to send another spoke out from the hub, but I want you to bend it back upon itself and back to that hub, and just notice our sense of awareness. Notice that there is a separate part of our mind that is observing, that is aware, a part that is separate to our thoughts and to our emotions. And just bring this separate part of the mind into your awareness and notice what that is like. Now I ask you again to take another deep breath in And we're going to move to the final quadrant on that rim that represents our connection to things outside of our body. And I want you first to focus your attention on people that might be physically close to you. Anyone that's in your immediate environment, and just notice the connection you feel to those people. And now also noticing your connection to the physical place around you, and noticing what that connection feels like. And now expanding that awareness to any creatures that might be within that physical vicinity, any life. And now I want you to shift that awareness again to the people, the relationships that you feel an emotional closeness with, whether that be friends, family, partners. Just noticing where those relationships sit. And again, shifting our awareness to the physical places that we might feel connected to. That might be our homes, or it might be places, memories from our childhood. Might be our sense of country. And just focus on that connection, where it sits within ourselves. And next, shifting that attention more broadly to all of the people around us, the people within the city upon which we live, and noticing that connection. And expanding further to our connection with all of the living creatures within our country. And finally, a connection with all the people around the world. Indeed, with every living creature, and our connection with the earth and the planet itself. Just holding that connection. And one last deep breath in. And again, invite you to find the breath. noticing where it sits. And I invite you to shift back into awareness, the movement of the body, the floor beneath our feet, clothed against our skin, noticing the sights and sounds and smells, and gradually bringing your attention back into the room around you and slowly opening your eyes and being back in the present moment.